Hello friends, welcome to UGC EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Satya Raj from the discipline of Geography, School of Sciences, Indira Gandhi National Open University, Delhi. Today I am going to elaborate upon weather data recording and weather forecasting, which comes under the paper Climatology. First of all, let us discuss what could be the learning outcomes of this module. While going through this module, you should be able to define weather forecasting, describe about the histogenesis of weather forecasting, explain the procedures of weather forecasting, list different tools used for weather forecasting and distinguish between different types of weather forecasting, and also correlate with different methods of weather forecasting, and finally summarize the important milestones achieved by India regarding weather forecasting. In this course so far, you have studied about atmospheric processes in general as well as few extreme weather events. You have also been acquainted with classification of climates given by some of the leading scholars. You have learnt about the processes that have brought about a change in climate. In this module, you will study about the processes of weather data recording which leads to forecasting of weather. Today, weather prediction has become the need of the hour. Almost all sections of society need weather forecasts directly or indirectly, whether they are the general public, administrators, farmers, businessmen or industrialists, etc. This module will take you to a journey of weather forecasting since ancient times to modern era, when the satellite remote sensing and GIS have brought a revolution in weather forecasting methods and techniques. You will be introduced to different procedures and tools used in weather forecasting as well as different types of weather forecasting. Now the definition and meaning. Weather forecasting simply means prediction of atmospheric conditions like air temperature, humidity, sky conditions, air pressure and general circulation of the atmosphere of a particular place or region, using scientific tools and technological knowledge. In other words, it is a way of predicting the atmospheric conditions before they actually happen and is supplemented by a variety of statistical and empirical techniques. The weather prediction or forecast is done at different temporal levels like daily, weekly, monthly, etc., depending upon different sources of information. It requires a high level of research work in atmospheric sciences. As already mentioned, nowadays there is an increasing demand of weather forecasting data for different sections of the society. For example, if a tourist plans a trip to a destination for a week, they will require a complete weather forecast for that duration so as to plan accordingly. This would also enable them to take necessary precautions well in advance. Similarly, fishermen also need forecast, but their need varies in different temporal ranges of forecast, ranging from a few hours to a few days depending upon the time they go for fishing. If they come back within a day, they would need forecast for a few hours. However, if their crew go for fishing for few days, then in that case they need forecast for that many number of days. Sports events also depend a lot on weather. The success of any outdoor game or tournament depends on the favorable weather conditions and of course weather forecast. Weather forecasting is highly required for all farming activities, right from sowing to applying fertilizer, need of irrigation and harvesting of crops. It also helps in the storage and transportation of crops. So in a way we can say that weather forecasting is a product of science that impacts us in all walks of life. Now the histogenesis of weather forecasting. In module 32 related to the progress of climatology, you have already studied that even in ancient times before the advent of modern tools and satellite technology, weather forecasting was prevalent in society. Please refer to that section as it is related to the histogenesis of weather forecasting. However, we discuss that in very brief here. During the ancient times, much of the forecasting was done in a crude manner by just looking at the sky and general atmospheric conditions like sky color, wind direction, cloud cover and its lightning, thunder, etc. Behavior of some animals and birds were also marked as an indication of change in weather conditions. Certainly certain folklores were also in use during the early periods of history as a method of weather forecasting. Systematic weather forecasting started with the invention of instruments like thermometer by Galileo in 1593 and barometer by Torricelli in 1686. You must be knowing that thermometer is used to measure air temperature while barometer measures air pressure. The invention of telegraph in the year 1840 further helped in the collection and propagation of weather data and reports to every nook and corner of the world. Then with the advent of radio telegraphy, it became easier to collect climatic data. Then came the aircraft sounding techniques, which further revolutionized the method of weather data collection. With the help of radar technology, it became possible to determine upper winds and with greater accuracy, as well as track tropical cyclones, thunderstorms and other extreme weather events. The first meteorological satellite, TIROS-1, was launched in the United States in 1960. There are two types of weather satellites, namely sun synchronous and geosynchronous satellites. Also, with the invention of high-speed electronic computers, it revolutionized the method of analyzing climatic data. It helped to solve various complex mathematical problems with ease, which is very important in various weather predicting models. Procedures of weather forecasting. Today, weather forecasting has become very scientific and involves some well-defined steps like recording, collecting, transmitting, compilation, plotting, analyzing, and then the final forecasting of weather-related information. Let us get acquainted with them in brief. Recording of weather data like temperature, pressure, wind speed and direction, precipitation, etc. is done with the help of several instruments and tools in weather and meteorological stations. These stations are located around the world, be it island or water surface. These recordings are done at different times of the day, especially during the 4 times, that is 6 am, 6 pm, 12 am and 12 pm. Satellite imageries are also studied to record weather related information. Now, the collection of weather related information and data is done through various weather recording centers and stations scattered at different places around the world. These centers are distributed in various landscapes, that is mountains, plains, plateaus as well as water areas in the oceans and seas. They collect meteorological, climatological, hydrological and oceanographic data from over 15 satellites, 100 more buoys, 600 drifting buoys, 3,000 aircraft, 7,300 ships and some 10,000 land-based observation stations which are a part of World Meteorological Organization (WMO). Now, the transmission of this weather related data is done after recording and collection. World Meteorological Organization is a scientific body of United Nations established in 1950 and having 191 member countries with a huge network of observatories and stations as mentioned above. WMO coordinates with national meteorological and hydrological services of its member countries, through which weather related data is shared internationally through World Weather Watch. There are 3 major collection centers of World Meteorological Organization where the information from local regional centers are transmitted. They are located at Washington DC, Melbourne and Moscow. This enables in the dissemination of daily weather forecast and early and reliable warnings of high impact weather climate events. After the processes of recording, collection and transmission of data comes the work of compilation and analysis of data, which is done by climatological experts. Computers are used in the final analysis work and various models are in use by the experts, which we would learn in the coming sections. Lastly, after the analysis, final interpretation is done, which is in the form of weather forecast. Now the tools in weather forecasting. You have already studied several instruments that are used to collect weather related data. These instruments are like thermometer, barometer, hygrometer, rain gauge, etc. that measures weather related variables locally. With the advent of satellite climatology, it has been possible to get weather related information for a relatively larger area and also measure upper air weather conditions. So, radio sondes, satellites, radars, etc. help in the collection of upper atmospheric data. Let us get acquainted with radio sondes. These are instruments that are carried aloft by a balloon as shown in figure 1 and has radio transmitting capabilities. It is a combination of two words, radio, which is used for onboard radio transmitters, and sonde, which means the messenger from the Old English. It contains sensors and capabilities of making direct in situ measurements of pressure, temperature and wet bulb temperature up to an altitude of approximately 30 kilometers. The observed data is transmitted immediately to the ground station by a radio transmitter located within the instrument package. The ground based antenna tracks the motions of the radio sonde and the measurements are taken. Raven sondes are similar to radio sondes, but they provide wind speed and direction at various altitudes based on radar tracking. This is because the balloon is filled with hydrogen and is released with a metal target to reflect the radar signals. So, apart from ascending, the balloon also drifts horizontally as per wind speed. Both aeroplanes and satellites are used for taking pictures of the Earth's atmosphere at different levels. Aeroplanes provide aerial photos of cloud covers at probably lower altitudes. Satellites, on the other hand, are of two types, basically geostationary and polar orbiting satellites that are important for taking imageries and recording atmospheric data. You have already read about them in module 32 of this course. You may recall that geosynchronous satellites, because of their extremely high altitudes, about 36,000 kilometers, are capable of taking imageries of a relatively larger area compared to polar satellites. Polar satellites, on account of their low altitudes, about 800 kilometers, are capable of recording minute atmospheric details of relatively smaller area like cloud cover, water vapor, etc. There are two types of sensors attached with satellites. One is the sounding sensor and the another is the imaging sensor. An example of sounding sensor is AVHRR, Advanced Very High Resolution Radiometer, that provides useful information about thermal conditions of the atmosphere, cloud cover, water vapor, etc. They are attached with polar satellites. On the other hand, the imaging sensors are attached with high altitude geosynchronous or geostationary satellites and provide information about thermal conditions and humidity conditions of the atmosphere. They are also capable of taking pictures about physical and cultural landscape of the region. Radars, radio detection and ranging, are active remote sensing systems operating at microwave wavelengths. You have already studied about active and passive remote sensing system. The primary advantage of active remote sensing system or radar is that it can take imageries during any time, whether it is daylight or darkness, or in any weather condition, whether it is cloudy or precipitating in the form of rain or snowfall. The basic underlying principle of a radar is that the sensor in this transmits a microwave or radio signal towards the target object and detects the backscattered radiation. The strength of the backscattered signal is measured to distinguish between different targets, discriminate between different targets, and time delay between the transmitted and reflected signals determines the distance or the range of the target object from the radar. There are different modes of operation of the radar, that is the constant mode, constant wave mode, which is the continuous one, and the pulsed mode, which transmits electromagnetic waves in short pulses. Refer to figure 2 to get a clear picture of radar. Weather forecasting is done in different temporal scales which has different uses and have different parameters for accuracy. So, on the basis of different time scales, there are 4 types of weather forecasting. They are listed below: long range weather forecast, medium range weather forecast, short range weather forecast, and nowcast. Now, let us get acquainted with them. The long range weather forecast, as the name suggests, is done for longer temporal range. These are not forecasts in true sense, but are given in the form of statements or estimates for a period ranging for a fortnight, month, season, or even a year. They are given in the form of statements for longer periods, and so the level of accuracy is lesser compared to the short range forecasts. Such forecasts give due consideration to the departures of temperature and pressure and other atmospheric conditions from normal atmospheric conditions for a particular season or a period of time. These departures are seen from an average of past observations regarding the different elements of weather or atmospheric conditions. Long range weather forecasts are considered important if the forecaster believes that the forecasting is accurate and his level of coincidence is high. For instance, if a forecaster says that it would rain next Monday with a 90% level of confidence, then it is considered important. Similarly, long range forecasts are given for a season, like predicting the success or failure of monsoons in the case of India. These are based on several parameters like southern oscillation, El Nino, or both, that is ENSO, El Nino southern oscillation. You must have watched on television channels regarding predictions for the success of forthcoming monsoons by climatic experts very often. Medium range weather forecasts is given for interval ranging from 3 days to 3 weeks. These have greater accuracy compared to long range weather forecast, but have lesser accuracy in comparison to short range weather forecast. Like long range weather forecast, they are also given considering the mean weather conditions for the extended period based on past and present weather conditions. This is important for various weather sensitive activities such as farming operations, flood forecasting, water resource management, sports, transport, etc. Medium range forecasts were impossible before the advent of satellite remote sensing for climatic purposes. Global forecasting models developed at US National Center for Atmospheric Research, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast, and the US National Meteorological Center became the standard during the 1980s for making medium range forecasting a reality. India Meteorological Department IMD has operational mandate for providing day-to-day forecasts on short and medium range for various user specific applications such as public weather services, aviation, agriculture, hydrology, disaster management, etc. Short range weather forecast. The short range forecasts are made for the time period ranging from few hours to a day or even 72 hours. The purpose of short range weather forecasting today is to provide various users with the information on anticipated weather conditions for forthcoming 2 or 3 days. It covers areas of a few million square kilometers. The prime objective is to take the necessary precautions beforehand so as to reduce the inconvenience or the damage caused by adverse weather conditions. Short range weather forecasting has a high level of accuracy compared to the two types discussed above and is based on maps, weather charts, satellite imageries, or any change in atmospheric conditions over a particular location. About 80 to 90% accuracy is seen in forecasts that is done for smaller durations, say 12 hours. These have greater application in day-to-day activities, for example, aviation, transport, tourism, sports, health, adventure activities, and for managing the disasters. This is because such forecasts are weather specific and predict specific weather phenomena like fog, thunderstorms, cyclone, dust storms, hailstorms, etc. And the information is transmitted in the form of weather report through both print, that is newspapers, and electronic media, that is the radio or television channels, to the people. Now, the nowcast is the weather forecast for a very short duration and comprises of detailed description of current weather along with forecast obtained by extrapolation, usually for a few hours, say about 0 to 6 hours. Though through nowcast it becomes possible to forecast even the minute details of individual storms with reasonable accuracy. In this case, the forecast is done for a relatively small area like a city, and a minute weather details are covered with the help of radar, satellite images, and observational data. It is predominantly given as a pre-warning against any extreme weather event like cyclone, thunderstorms, tornadoes, which has the possibility of causing flash floods, lightning strikes, and destructive winds. One important feature of nowcast is that it provides location specific forecasts for storms, right from initiation, its growth and movement to final dissipation. This helps the local people to cope with any such extreme weather events. Extrapolating radars are used for nowcasting. Nowcasting systems use combination of radar extrapolating systems along with satellite numerical weather prediction models to produce an extended short period forecast. You will learn about numerical weather prediction models in the next section of this module. Nowcast is helpful in three ways. It prevents casualties of population, it helps in minimizing the loss of property, and thirdly, it prevents the loss of economy by improving savings for the sectors that could be directly affected by weather. Besides being used for disaster management, nowcast is also used for aviation purposes. Here weather related information is given for both terminals, that is the source and the destination, as well as en route environmental conditions are also provided. Nowcast also provides information for marine safety, water management, power management, offshore oil drilling, construction industry, and leisure industry. Now let us get acquainted with different methods of weather forecasting. There are several methods for weather forecasting. The method chosen by forecasters depends upon their experience, the amount of information available to them, and the level of difficulty posed by the forecast situation. Weather forecasting requires a lot of atmospheric research and includes numerous mathematical and statistical techniques and models by professionals and weather scientists and forecasters as mentioned. Let us study some of the well defined weather forecasting methods, which are as follows: the persistence method, trends method, climatology method, analog method, and the numerical weather prediction method. Let us now get acquainted with them. Persistence method is the simplest of all methods listed above, and as the name suggests, it is based on the phrase today equals tomorrow. In this method, it is assumed that the atmospheric conditions would persist tomorrow like the way it is today. For example, if it is sunny today with the temperature of 27 degrees centigrade, then it would be the same tomorrow also. This method works best for places where weather conditions do not change very much for a particular season or time. For example, in Southern California during the summer, predictions can be made with the help of persistence method as they experience very few changes in day-to-day weather conditions at that time. It might generally appear that method is generally used for short range forecast, but it is more suitable for long range weather forecasts, for example monthly or seasonal forecasts. Forecasts like cold and dry month would be followed by another cold and dry month, and so on. Trends method. This method, as the name suggests, is based on certain trends on the basis of which prediction is made. These trends could be like speed and the direction of winds in a cyclonic condition, which could precisely predict the time when the cyclone would hit a particular place. For example, if a cyclone is at 1000 kilometers west from a region X and it is advancing at the velocity of 200 kilometers per day towards the east, it would hit the place X in 5 days. Trends method is also applicable for nowcast if the prediction is made for few hours. For example, if a thunderstorm is located about 60 kilometers northwest of a place and is moving in southeasterly direction at the rate of 30 kilometers per hour, then it would take just 2 hours for that thunderstorm to reach that place. This method is useful if there is consistency in the speed and direction of a particular weather system. Now comes the climatology method. As the name suggests, the climatology method involves the predictions of weather of a particular place and time by finding out the average weather conditions of that particular place and time accumulated over many years. For example, if one has to make predictions of weather conditions of Mumbai for 10th of June, then all the weather data recorded in the previous years for Mumbai for June 10th would be taken into consideration. This method works well if the weather conditions are more or less similar for that particular place for that particular time. If the weather conditions are erratic at that time, then this method will not work. Now comes the analog method. This method is based on the regularity or periodicity of weather conditions in the past and belief and recurrence or repetition of a similar weather event in the future. Analog method thus finds an analogy of a particular day's forecast scenario with a day in the past when the weather scenario looked similar. Take for example, if stormy conditions had developed in an area after a warm afternoon, then if similar conditions of temperature persist in the afternoon, one can predict the arrival of storms. It is however true that this method is complicated and there is impossibility to find a perfect analog. Even small differences can lead to faulty results and inaccurate predictions. Now the numerical weather prediction method. This is the most accurate method and uses the power of computers and complex computer programs and equations concerning atmospheric variables like temperature, pressure, humidity, etc. These equations are used by models which are run on supercomputers with the help of which weather forecasting is done. The equations used for these method has to be very precise. Otherwise, when the models are run, the errors multiply and gives erroneous results. The errors are also due to certain gaps in data received before, which forms the basis of equations and are run in a model. However, it is worth mentioning that despite these flaws, this method is considered the best discussed above and gives precise day-to-day weather forecast. It also requires tremendous expertise and also experienced forecasters use this model to give precise weather information. The learners are requested to go through the IGNOU SOS YouTube links given in the back of this module and see the programs on observing weather and predicting weather to know more about the types and methods of weather forecasting and its applications in different sectors. The learners will also get an overview of the role of India Meteorological Department and its network of meteorological stations and observing stations in India around the world. with the help of which weather related information is disseminated. Now let us discuss the same, that is forecasting in India, in brief in this module also. IMD was established in 1875 as the National Meteorological Service of the country, which brought all meteorological work in the country under a single authority. It has the prime objective of taking meteorological observations and acts as a governmental agency of forecast related to certain weather sensitive activities like agriculture, water resources management, industries, oil exploration, shipping, aviation, etc. It has a tremendous role in giving pre-warning in case of extreme weather events like cyclone, floods, thunderstorms, heat and cold waves, etc. The information is disseminated to the disaster management agencies and general public so as to prevent the loss of life and property in any such extreme weather events. One important objective of IMD is also to prevent high-end research in meteorology and related fields. It also detects and finds out the exact location of earthquakes in different parts of the country so as to aid in some vulnerability assessment of some developmental projects. Since the last 140 years, IMD has come a long way, right from the telegraph age to computer age to current times, which is the era of satellites. India boasts of having its own geostationary satellites for continuous monitoring of atmospheric conditions and making precise weather predictions. The INSAT series of satellites carrying very high resolution radiometer have been providing data for generating cloud motion vectors, cloud top temperatures, water vapor content, etc., and facilitating rainfall estimation, weather forecasting, genesis of cyclones and their track prediction. OceanSat 2, launched on September 23, 2009, carries ocean color monitor, Q-band scatterometer and a radio occultation sounder for atmospheric studies (ROSA). ISRO, or Indian Space Research Organization, has also designed and developed ground-based observation systems such as automatic weather station, agrometeorological tower and Doppler weather radars (DWRs) as well. Vertical atmospheric observation systems such as GPS sonde and boundary layer lidar, or called BLL. These ground-based systems would augment the space observations and validate the outcomes pertaining to various Earth system processes. Refer to figure 3 to get an idea of forecast performance of IMD in terms of in case of Hudhud cyclone which came in 2014. The red line represents the forecast tracked while the black line represents the actual observed track followed by the cyclone. You can see that there is a very little difference between the two, which suggests the high level of accuracy attained by IMD in the forecast these days. In future, even high precision would be obtained. Now let us recapitulate what we have learned so far in this module. Weather forecasting is defined as the prediction of atmospheric conditions like air temperature, humidity, sky conditions, air pressure and general circulation of the atmosphere of a particular place or a region using scientific tools and technological knowledge. During the ancient times, much of the forecasting was done in a crude manner like sky color, wind direction, cloud cover and its color, lightning, thunder, behavior of some animals and birds, certain folklores, etc. Systematic weather data recording started with the advent of instruments like thermometer, barometer, telegraph, radio telegraphy, radar technology and finally satellites, namely the sun synchronous and the geosynchronous satellites. Weather forecasting involves some well defined steps like recording, collecting, transmitting, compilation, plotting, analyzing and then final Forecasting of the weather related information. The tools used in weather forecasting are thermometers, barometers, hygrometers, rain gauge, radio sondes, Raven sondes, aeroplanes, satellites and radars. Weather forecasting is done in different temporal scales which has different uses and help different parameters for accuracy like long range weather forecast, medium range weather forecast, short range weather forecast and nowcast. There are also different methods used for weather forecasting. Some of the well defined methods used by climatologists are the persistence method, trends method, climatology method, analog method and the numerical weather prediction method. Thank you very much.